What is happening, everyone? Jim here. Got the old TF2 back out again today. Gonna take it out under the original off-road adventure park and see how she performs after welding that transmission into low range and swapping out the motor and doing a little bit of suspension mods to it. Want to see how she handles on the old original course. I've also done a few other modifications to the truck since it's last been seen. Put a new set of mirrors on there. That's not going to help it around the course. It's certainly going to help it look a little bit better. I also added some pinstriping down either side of it. So we have some nice black pinstriping going down either side of the truck, as well as painting the turn signals. Used a orange neon Sharpie to color those turn signal lenses orange there on the front of the truck, and then used a red Sharpie to color that back side marker light red. So I only had the truck for 3 years now, so I guess it was about time that I actually got around to painting up those turn signals. So let's take her out here, everyone, and see how she does. We are currently running on those Traxxas TRX4 1.9 Canyon trails that came off of my Sunset Bronco. Custom cut tread pattern on those, open air holes on the wheels. Since we're running open air holes on the wheels, we are going to be avoiding our water feature today. Don't want to get any muddy foams here, so going to try to avoid the water feature as we make our way over this first rock, heading into the water feature area. We are just going to slowly make our way past the water feature. Once again, the truck is completely watertight. It is more watertight than a frog's behind. But those tires are not, so we will be avoiding the water hole. Slight lean going on there as we're coming out of the pond section and onto the over-under log bridge. Typical TF2 lean there. A little snaggy snag on the axle. Still haven't updated that servo, everyone. Still running that Savox SW0231. Really need to get my hands on one of those nice Protect servos and throw that in here. Something with a good 600 inch-ounces of torque would definitely make life a lot nicer for the trail finder. Moving our way around into the bombed out section. Going to ease our way through the bombed out section here, which is probably not going to be too difficult. We've had a lot of rain over the last few weeks, so a lot of the stuff has been filled in, and I just haven't gotten out here with the shovel to dig any of this stuff back out. So they're a little bit filled in right now, even though we are still getting stuck in some places going through with the truck. A lot of little tree roots and whatnot sticking up out of these holes to snag you up or to give you traction one way or the other. On into the tunnel we go. Making our way back out of the tunnel and over to our first big log pile. Alright, coming up to our first big log pile here, everyone, and also our only big log pile. I know it doesn't look like much of an obstacle. Kind of looks like it was just basically thrown together, which it was. None of the sticks are anchored down. They all float around, just gravity holding them in place. And we never readjust them after we go back across it. We just kind of leave it for the next guy. It doesn't look like much of an obstacle, everyone, but if you could imagine yourself in a full-size vehicle approaching a log pile that was, you know, essentially the same scale size as this pile is compared to the TF2, that would be a little bit of a daunting task, a little bit nerve-wracking trying to take your vehicle over a big pile of trees like that. So, you know, and all in all, it's not a bad obstacle. Once again, very cheap and easy to make. So we'll go ahead here and get the TF2 up on it and see how she handles after doing all our mods to the truck. It really didn't have too much trouble in this area before, so I really can't see it having much problems with it now after doing all the mods to it. Once again, nothing stopping those sticks from moving around. Feeling the pinch of that weak steering servo still, but we're gonna make it work and make our way through here. Now the section that we're currently on, everyone, this is a section that is not going to be here for too much longer. This whole little area that we're currently crawling on is going to be getting ripped out here. Toot sweet. And there's going to be some new obstacles coming along in this entire section that we're running on. Basically from that little brick section down past these metal car wheels and back around to this other brick section. So a whole new section will be replacing this area. Now moving into our staggered brick section, everyone, this is one of the areas that I absolutely dread. I don't like taking the TF2 or any vehicle that doesn't have portals through this section, along with this other brick section up here. That's another spot that is just a definite danger zone. A lot of damage can occur, or potential damage can occur when you're going through these areas. Very easy to get snagged up in here, very easy to break an axle. So a little bit touch and go on this area. Once again, I don't necessarily like the idea of driving the trail finder through here, but we're going to take it through anyways since we're doing some testing on there. Once again, a lot of axle snaggers, really no set way to get through any of this stuff on here. Just kind of pull into it and close your eyes and hope for the best. We're through the bricks and into our first major rock section here. Dragging our back axle over that last rock, and then smashing our front axle directly into the face of this rock as we attempt to climb over this big girl. She's a big old rock. Oh, we're getting a little sideways. I don't think she's going to be able to do it. Oh, she's trying. And that's not too bad, because that is a big old gnarly rock to try to climb up on. And there's our first rollover. Little hand to God there to get her back up onto that rock, so we can just take off from where we left off, hopefully. Maybe. There we go. And hopefully we don't repeat that same rollover. Trying to find some traction there. There we go. Do a little readjusting here to contend with that weak steering servo. I did have a stronger steering servo in here, just for the people who are wondering. I did have a Savox SW1210 in here at one point in time. A little axle snag. Get on this big old rock here. That rock is pretty porous, offers quite a bit of traction. We currently have our drive shafts getting wrapped up on it. Right there. A little readjusting, we'll try to climb over that. There we go. So once again, did have a SW1210 in here, Savox servo. At right around 434 inch-ounces of torque, I want to say. So I did have that servo in here last winter. But then I blew a steering servo on my Rc4 Bronco, no surprise there, and replaced it with a servo that was in my TF2. The reason I did that, everyone, is I just didn't have the money at the time to go out and buy a brand new servo for my Rx4, and the TF2 at that point in time had a broken front axle shaft, so she was kind of down at the moment, and it wasn't hurting it to steal the servo. Although now it definitely needs it back in here. As we get ready to move into this next section, everyone, I'm not going to lie to you. This is a very, very sketchy area. Really touch and go. Could potentially do some serious damage to your vehicles by going through this area. Along with these stumps over here too. They're all sticking out of the ground, a couple inches out of the ground easily. A lot of axle snaggers. No rhyme or reason for them. Same with these bricks. These bricks are actually sticking up quite a bit out of the ground. There's my hand right there, so that gives you an idea how far up out of the ground we're sitting here with a lot of these bricks. 3 to 4 inches easily with most of them. Once again, no rhyme or reason on any of the angles, and definitely some potential damage with axle snagging in this area. So definitely don't want to take it through here, everyone, but since we are testing it, we're going to take it through. Much like the last brick section, this is just one of those areas where you just kind of cross your fingers and try to pick the best line that you can and hope for the best. I'm trying to keep an eye on the truck and try to keep an eye on the camera at the same time here so it can really add to the misery of going through this section. Try to watch everything at the same time. Kind of poised up on that brick there. Once again, no real good reason or a good way to make it through here. And no real good reason to have this obstacle. But definitely no good way to make it through here. That is for darn sure. And we are resting right on the front axle with that one. Yeah, I've been in this spot before, everyone, and I can tell you that the outcome is not good. There's really no easy way out of here. And winching really isn't going to do you much good either. Not when you got your axle snagged, you're liable to pull an axle off while you're trying to winch yourself out. And we are stuck in here pretty good. And that looks like a hand of God, everyone. So I just picked it up off that block and moved it forward slightly there, and I immediately look like I got my axle snagged again. We're just going to continue on here. Hopefully we don't break the truck in the process. Once again, very, very gnarly area. Continuing on up our brick hill here. First big brick hill. Really not that big of a deal. Slight off-camber on your way back up. Another off-cambered area on your way back down the hill. Try to take this nice and slow. Oh, back tire in the air a little bit, and we made it. Now rolling into this next brick section, everyone, this is the short brick hill. It doesn't look like much, but man, this hill is downright deadly, very difficult to climb. And actually starting to get a nice nice little bit of rubber transfer happening down there on the bricks from all the efforts of people going up and down the hill. But very difficult to climb. Normally, when you're coming up here, your back tire will be sitting right here on this little ridge, and while you're trying to get traction to go up that ridge, your front tire is sitting right here on this ridge trying to go up that side. So it can be very difficult to try to propel your truck up both of those ridges at the same time. Real fight for traction on this area, and darn near vertical once you get up into this portion. And no, everyone, I have not gotten around to ripping out this corner and rebuilding it yet. Once again, battling a lot of rain here lately, just trying to let it dry out a little bit. Have my rock wagon parked right here on the outside of the corner, so I'm all set to go with my supplies and whatnot. Just need to come around here and rebuild this, get it torn out, and start relaying in the new path. But as a testament to the rain, everyone, you can see with all these little buttes, all these little rocks just sitting up on top of piles of sand. And that is kind of a testament to our rain. You can just see how that rain is driven, cut right straight on down through all the sand, holding those rocks up in place, all the way along the edge up here, along with all these little rocks sitting on little dirt piles. So quite a bit of rain through here, everyone. And this other brick hill here is another testament to the rain with all the little buttes. It's almost like a little miniature of Utah or Arizona, with all the rocks just sitting up on these piles of sand, just balancing on the pile of sand.
Erosion.
Making our approach onto our steep brick hill here. Gonna cross my fingers and hope for the best with the trail finder. Open air holes once again in those wheels, so kind of a little bit worried that those back tires might actually collapse under the pressure of the truck. And if that happens, that back end is going to drop significantly, which is going to elevate our front end a little bit more, making life just all the more difficult for climbing up this rock, or climbing up this brick path. Definitely getting a little tire chatter right there, everyone. In the past, I've gone as far as to winch my front end down to get up and over this, but I'm going to just try to aim a little bit off to the left of the path and see if I can get my front tire to drop down in that pocket up there. And hopefully, yeah, there we go, get a little bit of traction and make our way up. Making our way back around to the next little balance section here. Nothing very difficult here, everyone, just a matter of trying to keep your vehicle on this lane right here without falling off. If you fall off, it's pretty easy to get your axles snagged up, get all off camber, and then it's very difficult to get back on it. So if you're driving around here for points, this could be an area that might take you out, even though it looks very simple. Again, not a very difficult path. Hardest part, just keeping your vehicle on the path. Making our way off of that and into our over-under log bridge here on the rocky path. A lot of big rocks, a lot of weird angles, a lot of air escaping those tires. Looks like we have to do a little readjusting here. We're about to go off the path. Alright, through that and making our way around to the big old log bridge here. TF2 not turning too sharp, no surprise there. A little readjustment as we make our way onto the bridge. Another little quick testament to the rain, big pile of sand right in front of us there. As you can see how it ran all the way down the hill from this last rainstorm. That's a problem that I have to deal with out here quite a bit, everyone, is dealing with a lot of runoff. So this is a pile of that nice sand that I've been talking about up here. Very, very fine talcum powder sand, very, very small granulars. You could really almost use that for sandblasting. It's a very fine sand. But yeah, I have to deal with that stuff running in and filling up our rock stuff. So occasionally I have to come in here and dig all that back out. Yeah, make our way up the big old log bridge here. One spot where these open air hold canyon trails really, really shine through. Being able to fold around those logs and get a good bite. This is one of those spots that would really catch the TF2 off guard with that 2-speed transmission, just making that transition over the top of this hill. Right there, she would have rolled forward violently beforehand from the slop that was in the transmission. So having that eliminated, definitely making life a lot easier. Making our way into the next brick section here, nothing but a bunch of rolling off-cambers through this area. Approaching our biggest off-camber, or one of the biggest off-cambers right here. Generally good for getting 1 or 2 tires in the air on the trail finder. And the same coming back down the other side. Can be a little bit sketchy with all these off-cambers. trying to keep her vehicle on top of the bricks and stay on that brick road. This next brick that we're approaching is another one that used to take me out every single time on the trail finder. And I'm hoping that we'll do a little bit better today after doing the suspension mods to the truck, but once again, open air holes on the tires. So if we get a tire collapse, we could be rolling her over. And we made it through. Always a little bit sketchy, but we made it. Making our way into the sandy section, which really isn't much going on in here right at the moment. Need to come in here still and clean up after that last rainstorm. Once again, this entire area was flooded, completely buried underwater. Making our approach up to the old over-under brick bridge here. Trying to get a good line on the face of this thing. And down the backside. Crossing over the bridge, everyone, we can make a hard left here and go up this rocky bypass, or we can go straight up the old Teeter-totter, which is definitely the easier route. But I think what we're going to do here is I'm going to attempt to take this truck up the Teeter-totter, and if it starts making it up without a problem, then I'm just going to go ahead and back it back down and take it up that rocky bypass. Usually the hardest part about making it onto this Teeter-totter is literally the approach right here, getting onto the Teeter-totter. If you can get your back tires up right there, then you're pretty much okay. As long as you can get past that first point that we're stuck on right now. As long as you can get past this point, then you're pretty much okay for the rest of the Teeter-totter. So we can just assume that the truck is going to make it up the rest of the way at that point in time. Try to back her back down gently here. And try to go ahead here and take this rocky bypass and see how we can do on that one. Little axle scrape on that initial rock. And here my back axle is dragging back. Couple track monks ripping across. Crazy little guys. Lucky they didn't get run over. Out there playing in traffic. This is one of those areas, everyone, that can be very difficult. A lot of wicked angles coming into here. Crazy little rock shelves everywhere. Little dips and pits. And things just to throw your tires right off of center. That one rock that we're looking at there with the rusty face, that is all leaning down towards us. This other rock, once again, leaning right off to the side of the trail, so it's kind of pitched this way a little bit. And if you get into those natural grooves that are on the rock, very easy to track right off of that thing. So this can be a very difficult section. Doesn't look like much, but once again, camera never does it justice. Of course, anybody who views this video is pretty much welcome to bring your trucks out here and try it. I know there's a lot of people that see this stuff online and are just like, oh, that's a piece of cake. I can make it right up that without a problem with my vehicle. Well, bring it on out and try it. That's all I got to say. Some things look easy on camera until you get out here and start running on it. Totally different story. We made it up and over without a problem, crossing the trail and heading into the next section. Once again, this rocky bypass was not ever really meant to be difficult. It was to bypass the teeter-totter in case that was unpassable, being saturated with too much water. So once again, the rocky bypass isn't meant to be difficult, but I just have a way of making things challenging. Just because if it's not challenging, really it's not going to be all that much fun. So we just went through our rocky bypass, rounding the corner here and making our way back around towards the rocky switchback. And obvious signs of rain through here with the runoff. All that lighter colored dirt is that very fine talcum powder sand that has been washed down. Every time it rains, massive cleanup out here on the track, trying to get things back in order again. Making our way along back over towards that rocky switchback. Once again, very first obstacle to be made on both courses. This is the original obstacle, number 1. And hindsight is 20/20 on this obstacle. I actually laid this entire obstacle out and had it filled with rocks before I brought an RC car out to test it. So some of these angles are extremely tight. You know, like I said, built it and thought or just assumed that I'd be able to make it through without a problem with the vehicles. But once again, vehicles don't turn as tight as I thought they would in my mind when I was building it. So we have some pretty tight corners on the course here. A lot of readjusting going on in this area, especially with that low torque servo. This is one of those spots where you really need a strong servo to help you navigate your way through these rocks, or else it can be very easy to get pulled off course because we are sliding downhill in big drops. We try to reverse our way around one of those big drops right here. Just trying to straighten my truck out and make this a little bit easier as we make our approach towards the next corner. Which we really ultimately want to be on the far side of the switchback here, on that far left side. And we got a front tire just itching to slide off the wall there, really folding over. And we managed to hold on to it. As long as that back tire doesn't fall off, we'll be all set. Here's our next challenge. This is just another one of those spots where it could be very difficult with a weak steering servo, especially with the old trail finder here, as we try to navigate our way down this next drop. Yeah, like I said, hindsight's 20/20 in this area. Should have made things a little bit wider. But then again, those are some of those great equalizers, once again, to level the playing fields with different vehicles out on the course. If you're out here taking the score and keeping track of everyone's time, just one more area that could slow you down. Getting a little turned around on my own course here, getting ready to make a left turn and go up this hill. So used to the new course going up this hill, so almost went that way on accident. Little axle snag going on here with these rocks. Little throttle persuasion to help us through. Onto our last log road. Once again, some obvious signs of erosion there with all that sand filling in all those gaps from between the logs with that last rain. Once again, need to come in here and dig all this stuff out. And this was actually another area that was planned to get dug out anyways. Ultimately, where the truck is sitting now, all the way up to the top of this hill, it's another spot that's going to be getting a new obstacle, or was supposed to be getting a new obstacle this summer. Just didn't get around to it because we got sidetracked with the other track. But once we get that other track kind of somewhat established, we'll be able to come back in here and touch up some of these gray areas. Making our way over the finish line hill there and on over to the podium. And that is going to do it, everyone. Very much appreciated for y'all sticking around and watching the video. Once again, taking the TF2 out for a test drive for the most part and seeing how she performs after doing all the mods. Not too shabby. Once again, steering servo needs to be switched out. Oil-filled shocks would be a huge improvement. But otherwise, she does pretty good after doing all the upgrades to it. So that's going to do it, everyone. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you all in the next video.